now it's back. What is going on? I'm just having all the tech problems tonight. It says I'm back though. It does say I'm back now though. Gosh. Alright, well, let's see. Are things working again? Alright, I think we're back. Hopefully it just doesn't, man, I feel like when I have tech problems, it's like all in one night. First Streamlabs decides that it wants to have problems, and then like, I think my internet or something, or that might have also been Streamlabs, I don't know. Just decides it doesn't wanna work. Ah, so here, you can see why I'm doing these now. I want all of those air bubbles to get out of there. All the air bubbles, we want those to get out of there. We want a chance for all that air to get out and be replaced with resin. Alright, is it working again? Is it working again? Alright, I think we're back. I think we are back. I don't remember what I was talking about. I really don't remember what I was talking about. But yay! Yay, we're back! I just decided that it wanted to be weird, I guess. It's just one of those nights, I guess. One of those nights. Because it's always all on the same night. It's just how it goes. Alright, put a little bit of clear in here. So we add a little bit of clear to the lids. I do worry that this D4 is not going to turn out. I think it's going to end up having problems. But there's not much I'm going to do for it now. I do want to let these sit a little while longer. So I want to make sure that I have enough clear to fill in as needed on these, as I need more. Because I want to let these sit so that the air bubbles can get out, and then I'm going to need probably a little bit more resin to fill in as that happens. As the resin sinks down in there, I'm going to need even more to fill in the gaps. So I need to hold on to a little bit of the clear. So I'm thinking maybe I will actually pour some of this off to use with the red instead of mixing it up in here. Because how much do we have left? Yeah, we've got... Are there number imprints? Yes. So, these have got numbers on them. They've got lids like this. Yep. The red ones the red pieces that I just put in, those didn't have numbers on them. Because I'm kind of doing like a layer around that red. They're just like slightly smaller, and then they don't have the numbers. That's the idea anyways. But yeah, these molds do have numbers in them. Let's see here. What about 20 milliliters? Do you do resin stuff yourself, Mountain Tree? Can't remember if we've talked about that before or not. Put in a little bit more resin here to fill in. For the layers, how do I get the outer layer? Oh, so that's my problem with this D4 here. But for the rest of them, it's like just small enough that it hits all of the indented numbers. So it's kind of being held in place by all those numbers. It's small enough that it'll fit in the mold, and then large enough that it hits like all of the numbers on the inside, so that the numbers can hold it in place. Because the numbers are fairly deeply indented, I guess, but they're not like super indented. So it's gonna be kind of close to the sides, but not super close. To be fair, even if it wasn't centered, it wouldn't be a big deal since it's just resin anyways. Just resin in resin. It's not like it's going to make it weighted or anything, but in this case, it's being held in place by the numbers that are just slightly indented. Fair. It is quite a bit of work. It is quite a bit of work. I do think that, like, it can be as little or as much work and money as you want it to be. To a certain extent, like, you can just get yourself some resin and some cheap dice molds and make yourself some dice. Like, it's doable. But if you want to get into the weeds of it and, you know, have custom shaped dice and anything like that, it can get spendy, it can get complicated. Alright, so let's set these ones off to the side for now. I think I'm going to need a little bit more clear for them. So I'm going to set them off to the side and let the air rise to the surface. Let the air rise to the surface, and then while we wait, let's get some other things poured as well. So let's maybe do our green next. So these ones are just going to be half green. It should be easy enough to do. Got our resin here, and start mixing in our green pigments. And I'm just doing kind of like a shimmery green. I mixed kind of like some dark bluish green with some green shimmery. And I want to make sure I get that mixed in completely. And hopefully end up kind of in between the two. It's kind of a darker blue-green that's shimmery. Best of both worlds. Best of both worlds. And we're going to do... Oh, there's a random piece of glitter in here. I don't want that. Get out of there, random piece of glitter. And then I'm going to try and do like half of the dye. Like half of the dye is this blue-green, like this kind of darker shimmery green. I think I'll use a pipette. That's just going to be easier for getting the resin in without making a giant mess. So I'm trying to keep it just on the, you know, the bottom half. And let's do the D6 and I can show you. So it's not full up, but we're just going to do like half of the dye as the green color in there. Man, it's so hard to show. It's like the angle, there's so much glare. There we go. I think that's probably good for the D6. The D20 always takes a bit more. Oh. It is fun to make dice though, I must say. Like it can take a lot of time. It definitely takes me a lot of time to make dice. But it is like fun to do. It's kind of rewarding to do too. I feel like at this point I can kind of take ideas out of my head and then make them a reality, which is like something I can't really do with drawing, for example. I'm not the best at drawing. It's like one of those things where I don't know. I'm sure other people have this experience too, where you're like, I have this great idea, but I can't make it exist. And that's why I like doing commissions too. It's because like it's really satisfying to help someone else like take an idea that they don't necessarily have the equipment or skill or whatever to make exist, and then like turn it into an actual thing. It's really fun. It's really fun. Plus D&D's fun, so you know. Yeah, I think that's probably good for that one. I'm just trying to fill these up about halfway. 2.5. I think that's at about halfway. I think we're doing all right there. All right. I do like a good shimmery pigment. I must say, I do like a good shimmery pigment. There's just something about that shimmer. I remember when I first started making dice, I watched like a couple of videos, and the person in them like always added shimmer to their dice, and I'm like, why? Why do you always add shimmer? And now at this point, I'm just like, yes, give me the glitter. It must be shimmery. I still don't always add it depending on what I'm doing, but it's just, I don't know, there's just something nice about it. Just a little bit of extra glitter in there. Trying not to make too big of a mess. That's what I was just doing with my tweezers, just trying to scrape some off the side that I accidentally got there. Did I make too much resin? I don't know. This is where I pulled out some extra molds and stuff though. So that, because I usually end up with like a little bit of extra resin, because it's better to have a little extra than like not quite enough, I feel like. You can always use a little extra resin in things. But if you don't have quite enough, it can mess everything up. I think that's about halfway. I think that's about halfway for this. But I think I might have a little bit of extra green. We'll find out. It is nice on some of these dice where I can tell where the halfway point is. Like this one, it's kind of like crystal shaped. And so I can see the point, like on the sides, until that is halfway. Yeah, that's good. And then for D2, I want to fill this in just enough that I don't have to put the lid on. So I just want to kind of coat the bottom with the shimmery green. So I don't want it so thick that like the number part of the D2 will run into it. I do still want all of that pretty green. I'm just going to kind of work it around a little bit. I might add a little tiny bit, we'll see. Depends on how this looks. I'll add a drop, I think. I want it to be thick enough that it's like pretty opaque, but I don't want it thin enough that it's not going to cause any problems. I think that's as much as I'm going to do there. Oops, let's get that bubble though. Yeah, if I go too thick, we'll run into the lid when we do the next part, and I don't want that. Definitely got some left over, so let's add a little bit more to my D20. I don't think I've got it all the way up to the midway point, so we'll add a little bit more there. And then I think we'll call it good. Even if it's not exactly halfway, that's fine. Even if it's a little bit lower, no big deal. Yeah. 12. Yeah, I think we'll call that good. I'll call that good. So these are actually ready to go now. Let me pull. Actually, let me just set these off to the side, I think. So I'm going to set those off to the side. Let those sit for a minute while we work on other things. We've got some leftover green, which is fine. We'll use that for something else. You can use it in a spare D20 or something like that. Don't know what I want to use it with yet, but that's fine. Alright, and I'm just gonna set this off to the side for now, out of the way. Let's do maybe our next thing that we're doing in layers. I have a set of dice here that I'm doing. There's like a purple and then no, it's not purple, green and then orange and then purple with a bunch of glitter. I'm doing a whole bunch of layers. I don't know how I'm going to do this D2, to be honest. So this one is going to be like a shimmery sort of sea blue-green color. It shouldn't be too... Oh, that'll be fine. Hopefully that's opaque enough, I guess. Is it opaque enough? I might need to add a little bit more shimmer to it. I think I might add a little bit more pigment to this. I don't think it's going to be opaque enough for me. The problem is if I add too much of the pigment, it makes it so it's really, really heavy. And then and then it'll try and like sink, which can cause problems. Let's see how that looks. And that'd be too much. We'll find out. I think that's good. I think that's good. I'll do this one now as well because we want it also to be kind of flowy so that I can actually put it into the molds and not gloop it everywhere. I want layers. I want layers. I want it to be able to spread out and get where I want it to be. What a pretty color. Let me see if I can show you on camera. It's sometimes hard to show off the like pearlescent colors on camera, but it's very, yeah, it's very like shiny and pearlescent, which I like. It's pretty. Yeah, so anyways, I don't know how I'm going to do this D2 here. My problem is that I have one more color. Maybe I will do, I wonder if I can do like just enough that I don't have to put the lid on. I'll put it off to one side, and then we'll do yeah, I think maybe we can make this work. I think we can make it work because I don't want to have to put the lid on, but I think I can do it low enough so that we'll end up filling the rest with the kind of reddish color that we're going to do. I'll do it at a slight angle or something. Alright. Anyways, let's do all of our layers. I want just enough that I'm going to make a really thin layer. I want the focus to be the green, which is the first layer I did, and then the kind of pinkish color, which is going to be the last layer I do. So I don't want to add too much of this. I might have actually added too much to the D6, but that's okay. I want it just enough to do a layer that's going to be visible. I'm missing one. No, I'm not missing one. I've got the right number. It's like something's missing. I think it's because the D2 is over there being different than everything else. I will add a little bit more to the D20 and the D12. Those ones take a little bit more resin. Just also because they're wider too, so I need more to fill in the same, you know, height of resin. That might be enough in there. Let's see how the D20's looking. Okay, there's still a little bit left in there, but let's see how things are looking. I'm gonna just kind of make sure that's to all of the corners. Yeah, I think that's probably going to be fine. Looks like it's covered it, so that's good. Let's see how we're doing in here. Yeah, I think this will be fine in here. It looks like enough. I can maybe use a little bit more in our D4 here, it looks like. Yeah, yep. It definitely needs to spread out a bit, but I think that's going to be enough. Alright, that's good. I think the D2 will be fine like that. I might want to put the D2 at a little bit of an angle maybe. like the barest little angle, like that. Just so that it kind of stays towards that side. I don't want it to like spill out or anything, but I do want it kind of to stay at that side. I think. Or do I want to fill it? It might end up a little bit funky. We'll see. How's our D20 looking? Yeah, it looks like the D20 is doing pretty well. I'll add another little drop in there, but that one looks full enough. This one could use a little bit more. It's one of our D10s. I can definitely still see all of the purple in there, which is what I'm trying to avoid. Yeah. Alright. Make sure there's no cat hair in there too. It's always cat hair, I swear. Yeah, I think we'll be okay there. It might end up being kind of a thin layer on some of these, but like I said, I kind of want a finish layer. Okay. Sorry, I don't know what I got distracted by there, but I just got distracted in my own brain, which is normal for me. Okay, I think that one's looking pretty good. How's the D12 looking? I think I might have oh, let's see, I could use maybe a little bit more in the D12. There's definitely a spot over here that doesn't have any. Let me do this. That last little bit out of there. I'm going to add a little bit more to the D20 too. So I might as well. There's definitely a lot of space that still needs filled up, so that's fine. Alright, let's make sure that we have enough in our D12 here though. Yep, that's looking better. That's looking better now in our D12. Like I said, I just want to make sure that it actually covers the whole layer. Alright. Cool. Alright, I think those are ready to go now as well. Looking pretty good. So what we have left, we've got a little bit of this left. We've got a little bit of green left. I think we might be ready to do our red. Okay, so I'm going to grab this with my hand. I'm trying not to put like fingerprints or anything on this. Let me just get it. I'm going to set this on top of a thing. This way I can pick it up by the other thing. And then I won't get any like resiny fingerprints on it or anything. That'll work a little bit better. Okay. So I'm thinking about 20 milliliters or so. About 20 milliliters or so. So let me see how much we have left. So we're going to go down to about 20. Perfect. Yeah, just one more drop. We've actually got almost 20 milliliters left. There should be plenty for that and our other things over here. I'm just going to make a little bit of a red kind of barrier here. What is going on in here? Just a flake of resin there for some reason. So I'm just doing a plain old red because, like I was saying at the beginning of the stream, some of the shiny bits, some of the foil and stuff kind of stuck out of the back a little tiny bit, making it kind of rough, and so I want something to just kind of smooth out all those edges a little bit. So I'm just doing some solid red so that it'll hopefully just blend in. It should just blend in with everything. It's so strange. This red is like so cloudy it's so cloudy while I'm mixing it, and then once it cures, it's like so vibrant and clear. But in the cup, it's just, I don't know, it's just very cloudy. Did I add too much or something? I think we're good. All right, let's see how this goes. I'm worried because I didn't get the bottom quite even. So I'm just going to spread this out a little bit, try and smooth everything out. I'll probably still end up, sanding some of the edges, smooth them out even more, but this should help with overall making things smoother. Smooth things over a little bit. Let's get this out of here. And then I'll start spreading it out a little bit with my stir stick here. Try and get things evenly coated. Because I do want it evenly all over the bottom of this thing. Okay. So I'm just going to start spreading this out. I'm still worried about putting this in the bottom part of my because I have like a double-decker thing for putting things into the pressure pot. But I found that like when I put things on the bottom part, like things end up kind of not quite even, and then all the resin will end up at one side or something. And then it ends up uneven. So I'm concerned that will happen again. But for now, let's just get this kind of spread evenly across this. Oh. I'm going to go wrap Christmas presents after this. I was going to do it earlier today, and I ended up getting some other things done. But that's my evening plans, is to go wrap Christmas presents. I finally got all of my Christmas presents done today. I got my mom's done a couple days ago, I think. I posted photos of it in the Discord, but I went and painted a puzzle for her. So that I think that might be my favorite thing that I made this year. I'll probably post photos on social media once I actually, once she's gotten it and everything, but it's not like she uses social media, but I am excited about that one. Yeah, I think that's probably my favorite thing that I made. I made my dad some keycaps, which I think is fun. Made a soap dish for one, grandma made soap for the other. Things that were kind of requested there, but I think we're definitely getting. Grab a bigger stir stick here so I can move more around at once. There we go. Alright, there we go. But, what did, I guess actually I should ask people what they got for Christmas after Christmas has happened. That would make more sense. I was going to ask what people got other people for Christmas. But I guess really it's more traditional to ask people what they got for Christmas than what they got other people for Christmas. I guess that makes sense though. I feel like that's somehow less invasive. But no, so yeah, I made most of my gifts this year. I guess I've done that in the past. I've always been a very crafty, artsy person, so I've made Christmas gifts quite often in the past. I was gonna make my brother dice for Christmas, but he's gonna get them a little bit late because they're sitting over here next to me because I need to fill in some little gaps on them and then actually sand them properly and get them polished. So He's gonna get those a little bit late. But to be fair, he gave me the idea for those a little bit late. Didn't have quite enough time really to get things made for dice, because dice take, for me at least, dice take like about 3 weeks to make. Well, we could say 2 weeks, but because I need like at least 2 weeks to polish them. They need at least 2 weeks to polish because I put them in a polishing tumbler and they sit in there for at least 2 weeks. Okay, this is starting to get a little bit thicker, I think, so I think we're getting towards the end of our work time. Let me spritz this down. Get hopefully some of the air bubbles on the top here to pop. This is just a little bit of rubbing alcohol. It kind of breaks the surface tension a little bit and helps all of those air bubbles pop on the surface. Move this off to the side. So, last things that we've got to do are get our red and black ones, make sure that they have enough resin in them, and then do our gold ones, which we wanted, you know, the resin to be a little bit thicker, starting to set up a little bit, so that all of the gold would actually suspend. Ooh, very gold. And I think we're getting there. Let's make sure that our clear ones are all good to go, and we'll do our gold one here last, because like I said, I want all that gold to suspend in there. I don't want it all to sink. So I want my resin to be thicker. Let's add some more resin to some of these. Make sure we got enough. Pop some bubbles on the surface. So let's see here. I'm gonna squish some of these. Our D2 is fine. Our D2, I'm not worried about it. Like, there's no place for the air really to get trapped on the D2. So we'll just set that off to the side for now. Our D4, I think is going to have problems anyways, but there's not too much I can do for that now, I don't think. And it looks like it doesn't have any big air bubbles, so we'll set that off to the side for now. I'm going to squish the D6 a little bit, see if a whole bunch of air comes up from one of the sides here or something. I think we're good on the D6. The D6s look pretty good. D8. Again, I'm just squishing and seeing if any air bubbles come up, and then trying to pop those so that resin can take their place. And usually they'll come up at like the corners and stuff. I'm not seeing too many bubbles, so I think we're doing pretty okay. I think this one could use a little tiny bit more though. I'll just add a little bit there on top. I think our D8's looking pretty good. One of our D10s. There's definitely still some area to fill in there, I think. Because it looks like one of the corners maybe has some air bubbles or something. Alright. It's looking pretty okay. I'll go for our other D10. This one definitely needs some resin to fill in. Yeah, that one's definitely got an air bubble there, so let's add a little tiny bit more resin here to try and fill in that area. I'm just squishing it around to try and get all that air out. And then trying to squish all of our, oh, that's a cat hair. Off of there. Yeah, the cat hair is still there. Get off. Complimentary cat hair with every set of dice. Alright, D12. How's it looking? Alright, it looks like I'm not getting too many like air bubbles coming up. There's some on the surface there, but we'll pop those, it'll be fine. And then, how about our D20? D20, I'm seeing some air bubbles. So let's make sure we've got all of our resin in place to fill in for that. A little bit more resin. Alright, we'll let that resin soak in. My workspace is a mess. I've still got some clear resin. Alright. So I'm going to add some clear resin to our little ocean thing here. I'm going to add some blue ink at the top. So let's get it filled up and then we'll add that. Ooh! Yep, it's definitely starting to get a little bit more gloopy, which means I'm nearing the end of my work time now. Which is good in some respects and bad in others. So let's grab a little stir stick here. We're going to add a little bit of blue ink at the top of this. We've just got like a seashell sitting on some sand down the bottom of this. And then I'm going to add a little bit of blue ink up here. Let's add, I might add a little bit more clear even. Or actually I might add a little bit more blue, darker blue, even closer to the top. So that kind of ombres a little bit, hopefully. Alright. Add a little tiny bit more resin, and then I'm actually going to add a slightly darker blue. I like that idea. I think that'll be cool if there's a slightly darker blue at the very top. Yeah, I think that'll be nice. We'll see how everything settles, of course, because things can always kind of end up looking different. But I think that'll be good. If the ink kind of stays where it's at, I think it'll look good. Alright, there's that done, or at least ready to go. And then, how's this one looking? This is the one that has all sorts of mechanical parts and gears and things in it. And actually, it's looking pretty good. I don't see any giant air gaps or anything. I think we're good there. So we've got some clear resin left. We've got a little bit of green. So let's do, this is a D12, not a D20. I grabbed the wrong thing. Let's grab a D20. D20 down. So let's add some clear. A little bit of clear. I'm gonna add the rest of the like sea foam and the green in here. And maybe a drop of like blue ink. That might be kind of pretty. We'll do a drop of that blue ink that we just added. I feel like that'd look good with the kind of seafoam color and the green. This is the darker blue. No, this is the lighter blue. I'm gonna do a drop of both. That's the lighter blue. Here's the darker blue. It's always kind of fun doing the, like, you know, using up like the leftover resin for things, because sometimes you end up with just really interesting designs, and you're just like, ooh, I should make a full set of those. And we'll see if this is one of those, but I'm just saying, like, sometimes it's fun to just put things in and see what happens. And I feel like there's less of a commitment when it's just like leftover resin. You end up with leftover resin from various things, and you throw it all into the same dye, and then it turns out either cool or it's just like, it's okay, or it's random or something like that. But sometimes it turns out cool. Actually, I'm gonna add a little bit of clear, I think, here. I actually have a use for that green, so we're gonna use it for something else. My use for that green. So I have a D4 here that I added a little bit of shimmery orange to. Let's add a little bit of shimmery green to it now as well. Might as well. Add some more shimmer. Then it's just another layer. We'll add, I'm sure, a different layer of a different shimmering color. And that'll be good. Alright. And that's all of our green used up. And we've got a D20 here. Let's spritz that down because there's some air bubbles on top. I'll just spritz everything down. Okay. Just rubbing alcohol, it's fine. And I think we've got enough resin here, so I think we'll be good to go. So D20. Alright, let's see, how is this looking? I think that's getting pretty close there. So I think we're getting pretty close. Let's maybe actually put some lids on things, and then so we can get them out of the way. And then we will pour our gold ones. So I'm going to start getting lids on things. Oh, actually, you know what I want to get a lid on? I want to get a lid on this D4, and I want to stack as much stuff on it as I can. Because this lid is not going to want to stay down. Yeah, I'm gonna try and put some heavy things on top of that one. Ooh. So let's put our D6 on top of here. Do a D10 here. Put this one on the one next to it. One sleeves. Work with me here, sleeves. Yeah, I'm gonna stack things. The problem is I don't know if I'm gonna have enough room to stack things. I'm tempted to leave the tray out because I actually don't really see too many bubbles on it, and then not use my double-decker thing. I honestly think that might work better if I don't use the double-decker. Double-decker? I can't talk. The double-decker tray. Just make things easier all around. Ugh, cat hair, why are you there? Alright, here's a D20. And a cat hair that doesn't need to be there. It keeps coming back. Stop it. I'll put that underneath our D12 over here. Okay, there's a little bit of bubbles on this D10. Let me. Where's my thing? I think we've got enough resin here that we can fill in. We have some air gaps in there, so I think we'll be okay. Let's put the lid on it. Yeah. Just start stacking some things. We have our D20 here that I just poured. And then actually these I want to kind of wedge between so that they'll stay upright. So we'll do that as well. Alright. Let me move this out of my way here so you can kind of see what's going on. And then let's pour our gold ones. I still have clear resin left. So maybe I'll make some. Actually, I think I have enough for another D20. Let's do another D20. Let's do another D20 with the clear. What I'm going to do, I think, is I'm going to put some ink colors in there, and then pour in the clear, and that'll kind of displace the colors. Put these in quick, and then hopefully that'll do kind of a reverse Petri thing. Maybe I'll add some white too, actually. Add a little bit of white as well. It's a little bit late now, maybe, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. That's what I was saying about the D20s. It's like I can have, or with the leftover resin, I can have a little bit of fun. Just try some things, see what happens. I think I need some more ink in there. Oh, maybe not. I don't know. We're seeing what happens. I just did a couple of drops of the purple, a drop of the red, and then a couple drops of white. See, some of it's actually starting to come out the top, so it might actually be interesting. I've still got some leftover clear resin. I might have enough for another D20. I'm not sure here. It's very close. I like that color. Let's get that. I want some of that color to stay, so put some of it on the lid. So there's another D20. And like I said, I'll do one more D20. What color should I do this time? Maybe like a green and a yellow. Let's do this green and some sort of yellow over here. And lemon yellow. That seems good. I'm going to do like half in the clear, and then I'm going to add those, and then I'll add more clear. Oops. Got the green. Drops of yellow. I seem to have dropped some of the yellow on my hand. Maybe this will be kind of nice and sunshiny. That's kind of my thought anyways. Do something kind of nice and sunshiny. I guess green isn't maybe the most sunshine color, but I don't know, it feels very like summery, fresh, I guess. Again, I'll add some of that to the lid instead. Cool, got a few D20s now as well, so it's always good to have a few extra D20s. I've got a little bit of clear left over, but I'm going to hold on to that in case I need it for the gold. But I think we're to the point where this is getting thick enough it should hold it shouldn't all sink. So let's get these poured. So like I said, I was waiting until the resin was a little bit thicker. pour these ones because some of the gold glitter that I have, well, just glitter in general, but some of the glitter in this, I was worried about all sinking to the bottom. This is also why I have the highest number at the bottom, so even if it does sink, you know, the highest number will end up being a little bit more glittery. We'll see how well I do at pouring this, because it's going to be a little bit thick, I think. I think we'll be fine. But I wanted it to be a little bit thicker so that hopefully all that glitter doesn't sink. So I waited quite a bit longer for the resin to start kind of setting up a little bit. Sorry, I'm concentrating. I'm trying to pour and not make a mess. I mean, you know, more of a mess than usual. Let's be real. I'm always going to make some sort of mess. Hopefully I have enough resin. This is why I held on to a little bit of the clear just in case. I think I'll be okay. Yeah, I should have plenty of resin here. I'm going to make sure that I get some in all of these before I go back and fill them in completely, you know, just in case, but yeah, we should be good. We should be good. Alright. Get all of that good resin and glitter out of the bottom there. A little bit more to some of these. Some of these need a little bit more. I want them to be domed a little bit. I want a little bit of extra resin in all of these because I'm going to be putting these into a pressure pot. So I'm going to be curing these under a whole bunch of pressure, and that's going to take all of the air bubbles in them and squish them down really, really small. And so I need resin to fill in the space where those air bubbles were. So I need a little bit of extra resin at the top. So I want to just make sure that I have that. And I'm also going to go through and add a little bit of resin to all the lids. Partially for that reason, so there's a little bit of extra resin. Partially so I can make sure that there's no like air trapped around the numbers. Because even though the little tiny air bubbles will get squished down really, really small, I don't want like huge amounts of air in there, because either I won't have enough resin to fill it in, or the air bubble will be big enough that it can't get squished down really, really small. So it's still good to kind of like mitigate some of the air, but you know, it's not a huge deal if there's a little bit in there. But let's get all of this. I think it's looking pretty good. Let's make sure I have enough resin in all of these. I could use a little more on our D4, maybe on a D6. And then I need to squish down this D20. It's got a whole bunch of air bubbles at the top. But I think it's looking like I have enough resin, maybe. I could use maybe just a little tiny bit more, so I'm going to steal a little bit. And then it should be fine. It should be fine if it's not quite as glittery. It's so little compared to the rest of the dye, it's not going to be noticeable. Plus I still got glitter in here, so this will help pick up some of that, hopefully. Yeah, this resin is still nice and glittery with how much glitter was still in this little container here. So I want a little bit more for my D4. Drop of resin there. Maybe drop more for my D6. And then maybe a drop more for my D12 as well. There's probably enough, but overfill. Oh, and then my D2 actually. I'll get every last little bit for the D2. I'll just put that on the lid, to be honest. It'll just be easier. Alright. Cool. I think we've got everything poured now. I still have maybe a little bit of leftover clear. So I don't know what I want to do with that, but what do I have enough for? This one has like I'm gonna mix it with a little bit of gold, I think. I'm gonna mix it with some gold ink, and I'm gonna put it into this necklace here. If I can get the gold ink open. Actually, let me shake that quickly too. Alright, so let me get that started up. This is just a random crystal. I finally found kind of a use for all these random crystals, so I'm back to making some of them if I have a ton of leftover resin. It works out. I've figured out finally how to make jewelry and stuff out of them. That's good enough. There is so little gold left. Oh, you know, there's so little. I'm going to add a little tiny bit of this gold to all of these. I was thinking of doing that anyways. So I'm just going to do it. Because I got just a little tiny bit of gold left. So why not? I was debating adding like a kind of a little bit of gold at like the bottom of each of these, and now I have a little bit of like gold that I can put in there. So I'm just gonna do it. It works out. I'll kind of stir some of that in actually. Yeah. All right. I'm going to try and make sure that it actually gets into the dye. But I'm trying not to cause, I don't want to add too much air, because it's thick enough at this point that it's difficult for the air to then get back out. So I'm trying to kind of make sure that it gets in there a little bit, but just a little bit of extra shimmer on one side. Yeah, alright. I think we're good. I think that's actually everything now. So, let's get the lids on these last few that need lids on them. And I will go put them in the pressure pot. Cool. Alright, let's get them, I think, on these first, since these have been sitting here long enough that most of the air has had a little bit more time to travel out of them. So let's get the lids on these. Let me spread some down first, try and make sure there's air bubbles popped on the surfaces. This one doesn't seem to have a ton of air bubbles, so we'll do that one first. I'm going to use this to wedge my my little drop charm things in place. Okay, come on. Pop. Pop, bubbles. Alright. Bubble on the lid. Alright, and then we do our last D20 here. A little bit and put another one here. I'll put these actually between these here, because then I don't have stuff spilling into them on accident. There we go. Alright. And I can start stacking some of these. Why is there a cat hair there? Get out of the way, cat hair. You are not needed, cat hair. Alright, and then I think we should probably start getting the lids on these. Let's put them down one more time. Let's try to get all of the last little air bubbles popped. I'm going to do the D2 first because I usually end up putting the D2 on the bottom to help hold the lid in place. There's a cat hair. Okay, there we go. So we'll get that on and get that onto the tray so we can set some stuff on top of it. And we'll just go down the line. So I will probably call it a night once I get all the lids on everything and make sure that this tray is doing good. I think I'm going to let the tray cure outside of the pressure pot. I think that's just going to be the easiest. It doesn't look like it has many bubbles on it, and I don't think any like micro bubbles are really going to be visible. It's such a thin layer, it should be fine. I think that's just going to be easiest for it. Yeah. Okay. Just getting the lids on these, and then we'll stack our other things on top of that. All of our open-faced ones. Whew. Alright, so there's that one. But yeah, thanks for hanging out, guys. Sorry about all the stream troubles. I don't know why things just did not want to work tonight for some reason. First, Streamlabs decided it didn't want to work, and then I think my internet or something. Might have been Streamlabs again. Who knows? We can just blame Streamlabs. That's fine. Yeah, thanks for sticking around. Like I said, I may or may not stream on Saturday since it's Christmas. Depends on what I'm feeling like and if I decide I wanna. I really wanna. If I'm bored or something once I get home from Christmas celebrations with family, maybe I will. But no promises there, since that's just if I wanna sort of thing. But I do hope that everybody else has a Merry Christmas if you celebrate. And I will, if I don't see you on Saturday, I will see you guys next Wednesday. So, I should have, well. Okay. My fingers are a little sticky now, which was a mistake on my part. Alright. Anyways, I'm going to go put these things into the pressure pot. I think I need to fill it up, probably the air compressor up with a little bit of air. So, thanks for hanging out. I will see you guys later, and I will try to post some photos of things on Discord once I pull them out tomorrow. So, I will talk to you guys later. Have a good night. Bye.